Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and we are going to be talking about these Jurassic World Rebirth toys again, since there was a little bit of new information, a few more new images that kind of came out. So, pretty much, here's another image of the Imaginext T-Rex. Again, the colorations don't quite match the one in the film, and it also comes with a little Dracorex, which Imaginext seems to do that every once in a while, include just a minifigure, even if it's not a species that's in the film. Anyways, we have the Spinosaurus, which I have so many questions about this toy, because it looks really questionable. I think it's going to be able to roll and look like it's swimming, but it just looks like a mess to me. Anyways, we have the Mosasaurus figure, which looks pretty much the same as what we saw before. Looks pretty good, I guess, for a Imaginext figure. Pretty good. Anyways, we have the mask. We have the raptor, except the raptor mask, except it's from the front, and then we also have the Spinosaurus mask again. And then here's some more images of the Spinosaurus claws. And then also, there's a video, which I'll link in the description, which actually has a lot of information about the new figures, and it confirms that the Mosasaurus figure that we're getting here is 13 inches long, which is the biggest minifigure I think we've ever gotten. And you can actually see on the top of this figure, it looks like it has a button, so this is going to be a pretty interesting figure. But yeah, anyways, this T-Rex figure, I'm going to talk about it more. Looks great, happy that it's a new sculpt. And, yeah, well, something odd is that it actually has osteoderms on its back, which maybe the one in the film will also have osteoderms, which is interesting. But, yeah, it looks great, though. Personally, probably not going to get it. Maybe when it goes on clearance, but otherwise, it's kind of not worth getting another T-Rex, another expensive figure. But, also, the paint just ends at the end. Like, the paint is not on the tail at all, which is unfortunate, since we got paint on the tails for pretty much every other figure except for the T-Rex, so that kind of sucks. Also, again, pronated rest face inwards, which is great. But anyways, next on to the Mosasaurus. Not too much new things, but I will have footage of the action feature later on. And this figure, honestly, I'm definitely going to have to see this in person, because literally every angle of this thing looks different. Some angles look great, like the first one on the left. And, yeah, this figure looks great. Besides the tail being too long, I mean, the tail being the wrong shape at the end, that was my only big issue. And, of course, the head is oversized, but that wasn't too much of an issue for me. Otherwise, it was great. Then there's other angles, like the one on the bottom, which is not too bad. Still looks great, though. Just looks a little bit thicker. And then we have another image, it's kind of like the one on the right, where it's ridiculously thick, which I honestly, again, going to have to definitely see this figure in person, because I might get this one, though. I don't really know. And also, another thing is that this thing has weird kind of osteoderms on its back, but not crocodilian-like. It's really weird. The one in the film doesn't seem to have it. Maybe it originally was going to and they removed it, but yeah. Anyways, here's a good look at the Titanosaurus kind of texturing and stuff in the paint job. Looks great. They kind of have like like the legs and a good part of the tail is absent of it. Well, the good part of the base of the tail is absent with paint, and then it goes on to having tail at the end of the tail. I mean, paint on the end of the tail. And then we also have the sails, which have zero paint on them, and they look less bright than they did before. Maybe even a little bit opaque, so you can kind of see through them. But yeah. Anyways, look at the head. I honestly cannot tell if this one looks good. The one on the bottom left looks like a beluga whale. Then there's the one on the right and the top, which looks really weird. I think it's because of the glare, but it looks like a mammal, like just a straight up mammal, not really a dinosaur or a sauropod of any type, just this mammal. But again, I'm really gonna have to see this head in person. The one in the film looks horrible, but I think the toy looks better, but it's kind of hard to tell. And again, here's a better image where you can see that this thing has an absolutely massive tail, which this thing's pretty much just the Brachiosaurus figure, just with a ridiculously long tail. And also from the video, which again linked in the description, we'll talk about more in a second, it was confirmed to be 50, actually I believe over 50 inches long and 30 inches tall, which makes it either slightly shorter or slightly longer than Dreadnoughtus. And so it's pretty much the same size as Dreadnoughtus, and then also it's slightly taller. In this position, assuming they're talking about this position, it is slightly taller. Same for Brachiosaurus, is also slightly taller. So technically, yeah, the longest and tallest out of all the figures, but if you're excluding the tail and gave it the tail of Dreadnoughtus, which this thing has a significantly longer tail, it would probably be just slightly taller than Dreadnoughtus. So, yeah, it's honestly not really. It's kind of the same size as all the other sauropod figures, just with a really long tail. So, yeah. And you can kind of see in this image, you can kind of see the proportions. The tail is ridiculously long, though that's kind of based off the actual design in the film. Same for this other image. It looks less ridiculously long, but yeah. Honestly, I still don't understand this Titanosaurus figure, even though I know I'm talking about just the ridiculous of them picking Titanosaurus, but like, it has nothing really Titanosaurus-like about it. It's kind of just, okay, a Brachiosaurus, a generally proportioned kind of like a Brachiosaurus, so they could have went with Brachiosaurus, or at least some Titanosaurs are somewhat proportioned like this, so they could have went with an actual species of Titanosaur. Then they give it like sails from a Dicraeosaurid for some reason, like a Margosaurus. I don't know why, no reason. Titanosaurs already would have had armor, that probably would have been enough, but instead they just kind of randomly slap sails on it for no reason. And then they kind of wanted to think of something else to make it more unique, so they give it a Diplodocid tail. This is pretty much just a sauropod hybrid, not a Titanosaurus, or whatever the heck that is to begin with, let alone it really being any real animal. It's kind of just a fictional sauropod. Why not just call it a hybrid sauropod? I have no idea. Anyways, Quetzalcoatlus figure. Here's another image of it, and this is the only one where I can't really find the footage of its action feature. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know if it has issues standing. It may actually just be because they were picking a lot of the figures up and presenting them. I don't know if that's exactly why it's sitting like this. Perhaps it may have issues standing, though. I wouldn't automatically say that just from this image. But yeah, generally, again, it's confirmed to have cloth wings, which I'm really not a fan of, honestly. I just don't like cloth on fully cloth figures, mainly because it's ridiculous. If it gets dirty, it's almost impossible to clean properly. Since you don't want to, especially if it's like an electronic figure or something that gets a figure that gets water in it really easily, there's not really a good way to clean the cloth properly while at the same time not ruining the rest of the figure, so yeah. Anyways, another image of Spinosaurus. I was really confused how the action feature works. I know there's a video kind of going around. I re-uploaded it as well, and we'll show at the end probably. And I was kind of confused. I saw the action feature. It made sense. I just didn't understand what button they were pressing, or I thought they were kind of pressing the little spines on it. But no, there is a button on the back of the sail, which you can see here on this image. Which that is like the one thing I dislike about the Spinosaurus. Outside of, well, at least things that are kind of its fault and not being, again, there are some issues with it, like having a shorter neck and also the color scheme, but those are not its fault. It's the fault of being based off the one for Rebirth. But the button is kind of random. I kind of think I would have preferred the little spines being pressed down, though I don't really know where else you'd put the button on a Spinosaurus, so can't blame them too much. But still, definitely the only one of the ones we have images of, I'm definitely going to pick off right off the back. But anyways, we have the Uno cards, which I knew I could kind of see a Titanosaurus on there, but I couldn't see too well. But finally, I found a video. Again, that same video, I'm going to link in the description. And you can kind of see the figures much better. Not only can you see the Spinosaurus, but you can see the Titanosaurus, Mosasaurus, Quetzalcoatlus render. We haven't actually gotten Spinosaurus, Titanosaurus, or Quetzalcoatlus render yet, but you can kind of see them here. I know you could also see the Spinosaurus render on the mask packaging, but yeah. Another thing that's weird is that it has a mixture of old species with old renders plus new renders, which the thing with Rebirth is all of the renders are drawn instead of actual renders of the creatures from the show, well, from the movie for some reason. And so you just have like the 2D kind of drawn dinosaurs and then like 3D models. Like we have literally the Jurassic World Triceratops, we have the Raptors, the baby Raptor squad, and then we literally have the Rebirth Mosasaurus 2D drawing with the new design, and the Jurassic World Mosasaurus with the old design. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, Titanosaurus still looks really ugly in the face, and the Quetzalcoatlus looks again all right. Again, that's pretty much what's going on with these figures. Also, this RC set, pretty much I saw it and I thought it was that one raptor set, and you can actually see very clearly that it is not a raptor. We finally know what dinosaur it is. It actually is Alioramus. That's kind of a random guess on my part, but I guess I was correct. So yeah, that is pretty much all we have. I am going to show the action figure.
Motion. You get to see that? Flywheel's in here too, so I can line her up.
Wow, that tail's amazing. That is so cool.
Find it the most.
There's also a link to the original video in the description, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.